Hi, Norma here, and welcome to my place. So you can see by the title of this video, Knowing God for Yourself, I wanted to talk a little bit about knowing Him for yourself and not knowing Him through someone else. Sometimes we believe that we know God because of how we were raised. We may have been raised in a family environment where someone in the family, a matriarch, maybe a grandmother, your mom or your dad, you saw them praying all the time. You saw them talking about God all the time and going to church on Sunday. And so the natural thing would be for you to believe, okay, I'm a Christian or I love God too because my grandmother did. But that's not always true. We're not automatically grafted in to being a Christian because of how we were raised. It's really a personal thing. I can remember hearing my mother praying for us. She would pray for my dad, for all of us. On down the line, all 7 of her children, she would lift us up individually in prayer. She would ask God to make us aware of Him and that we would come to the knowledge of Jesus Christ and that we would dedicate our lives to Him. So I'm following in my mother's footsteps. I do the same thing when it comes to praying for my children individually, and now that I have grandchildren, praying for them individually. But that doesn't mean that they are automatically Christians because I'm praying for them, because they're my children, because they're my grandchildren. You see, as I was lying in bed this morning and lifting each one of my children in prayer and asking God that they would come to the knowledge of Him and that they would dedicate their lives to Him, they would love Him as He loves them. The Lord whispered to me and said, I want them to know me. I want them to know who I am. I want them to come to the knowledge of me for themselves. So I know this sounds really simple, but praying for, especially my daughter at this time, she's going through a pretty difficult time. And I was asking God, what do I do with this? How can I help? What can I do? And I felt as though actually that, my hands were tied and that He was really saying that she's going through this. She has to go through things for herself to get to know me, to acknowledge me, to learn how to trust me. So you see, I had to give her over to Him. And that's not an easy thing. We as parents, we want to just hold on to them and guide them and we want to just have all the control over them. But we got to let them go. We got to trust that God has them and knows the best for them. So He was letting me know this about my daughter, that it's this time that she comes to know Him, that she comes to the full knowledge of Him, that she goes through these things, and as she goes through, she will learn how to trust Him. So I say, God, help me. Help me to continue to give her over to You. Help me to allow You to work in her life, that she will know the love that You have for her. So I want to encourage any parent today, anyone that is concerned about your children, your grandchildren, even your siblings, to give them over to the Lord is not an easy thing. I literally find myself taking my hands and just reaching out and saying, here, God, You take them. You know what's best for them. I don't. You know how to love them the way I can't. And you know what? That gave me some peace. That gave me the peace that He talks about that surpasses all of my own understanding. He has given me His peace to know that my daughter will get through this, that my children will all come to the knowledge of Him for themselves, and that my grandchildren will know Him and love Him and come to the knowledge of Him, and that all of my children and my grandchildren will walk in the purpose that God has for them. So be encouraged, parents. Keep praying for your children. Train them up, because the Word of God says to train up a child in the way that they will go, and then when they are old, they won't depart from it. Thank you for stopping by today. Thank you for listening. Please like the video, and if you have not done so, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and share this video, because when you share, you encourage someone else. Have a wonderful day. Bye.